Hi, I'm Nyesha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Good evening, and welcome to another segment of All Politics is Local, here with your host, rJo Winch. I feel like we've been on a vacation. But anyway, you're going to love this tonight. I have plenty of information for you. And it's not thus say rJo, it's thus what says in black and white. Because, you know, one of the things that we do, and we hear that you all appreciate it, that we bring it to you the straight, no joke, no nonsense, just what thus says it in black and white. And I didn't write it. So I don't have no commitment to it. All I'm going to do is tell you exactly what it says. On a lighter note, we want to make sure that all of you come out to our Women's United Luncheon. This is our 4th year. I can't believe it's been 4 years already that we've been doing this Women's United Luncheon on behalf of the Multicultural Community Alliance. This year, the celebration and the Women's Luncheon is going to be at Uptown Vibes at 3155 Main Street here in the city of Hartford. That means we're growing. We started off at the Sportman Club. Last year we were at the American Legion. This year we're at Vibes. If you all packed out the place in Vibes this year, I don't know where we're going to go next year, but we will work that out, and that's a good problem to have. So we're not going to complain about that. Any of you who want to attend the luncheon, male or female this year, we decided that y'all keep crashing our party. We might as well just invite you in. So this year, we're going to invite all men, women, children, boys, girls, and them. Whoever want to come, you're welcome. All right. So it's going to be Sunday afternoon from 2 to 6 p.m. on April the 19th. And we have some fantastic, absolutely fantastic speakers for you this year. We have our own Veronica Erie Wilson, who's going to be our MC. We have Lorna Little from Mum's the Word. It's a great book, great author. Is going to be our guest speaker. We also have Barbara Randolph from Edward Jones Financial Consulting Services. Going to be telling us a little bit about, how to manage our finances. And then we have Regina Dighton with the spoken word. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. And plus our vendors and all the wonderful people who will be there in the audience. If you need ticket information, you can contact me at 860-462-5063. Or you can contact Linda King Corbin at 860-881-3918. All right. And either one of us will be happy to answer your questions about attending the event. Now, some of our honorees are, if you're on accesstv.org site and you go to the right, you'll see there's things there, there's things that you need to know. I think that's what it says. And all you need to do is just scroll through those things. You will see us. We'll be right there. All right. So, and then we have our honorees. We have Cleo Duke Wright from Cull Books, Dorothea Barnett from the owning online magazine and our culture, Dorothea Barnett from BIW Magazine, Dr. Valerie Moses from Shepherd of Grace, Evelyn Richardson from Daughters of Eve and Sons of Adam, Giselle Jacobs from Sister Soldier Contracting Services, Henrietta Beckman from Mothers United Against Violence, Leela Boyer, the president of the Greater Hartford Progressive Democratic Women's Club, Lady Carrie Trimmer McCory from the chapel. And they do that fantastic What I Miss at Home every year. I think it's like about the 5th year they've been running that too. So if you haven't gotten to see it, you have got to see it. It's a phenomenal play. Lionel Thompson and the Phoenix Society from the Hartford Fire Department, Patricia Kelly from the Ebony Horsewomen, Reverend Brown from Mothers United Against Violence, Shannon Berry from the Heart of Hartford, Terry Good from Good Works, Terry Starks from the Hartford Drummers and Queens, and also Tony Gooley, who is a realtor, a fantastic realtor here she's from Bloomfield, but she does the surrounding areas. So those are all of our honorees. And if you didn't notice, you see we even have 2 guys that we're honoring this year, because I'm telling you, these guys help us out every single year. So we say, you know what, we need to do it. All right, and let's not forget our executive producer of this show on accesstv.org of the network. He's our annual producer. So we cannot forget him and his lovely wife, Nyesha McCauley. They always there. So we can't ever have an event that they do not support. They support us 125%, and we too support them 126%. How's that? So we support them 1% more than they support us. But let's just get into the topic tonight. You know, there's a lot of conversation going on around the city of Hartford about registrars, council removing registrars, who can be the registrar, and what are those kind of things going to happen now. Not knowing exactly what the turnout is going to be, I just want to give you a little bit of the information as it has been presented to me. All right, so I was at the council meeting last week, and they did get a ruling from their legal staff, who they pay, that basically lets them know that the council, under a ruling dated back to 1947, no, you heard it, 1947, with the Home Rule Act that states that the 1947 charter that was titled Removal of Elected Official reads as follows. I want to say again, these aren't rJo's words. These are the words of the 1947 charter that says that there is a ruling that elected officials can remove other elected officials. So it says, verbatim, the council by a vote of at least 6 members may remove any elected officer, including a member of the council, which I find funny, to including a member of the council of or the Board of Education, after a notice and a hearing has been provided, preceding sections in the case of the appointed officer. The other thing says that witnesses whose testimony shall be permitted to the charge shall be subpoenaed, all right, by the council. So the council will have, in 1947, would have subpoena power to have you come in to testify at the presence of the defending officer. Say, from a decision of the council to remove the elected officer, an appeal shall lie in the Superior Court of Hartford County. Now, you know we no longer go by counties. That's one thing. I don't know what the process would be to make that happen. And I don't say that the current council doesn't have a process. I'm saying I'm not aware of what the process might be. But I know for a fact that more than 4,000 people went out and voted for registrars of voters. And with the Home Rule Act, 6 people can remove the person that you put in office. So I'm just giving you food for thought, just something to be, mindful of, because this is an election year, and you need to be mindful of who you would be electing to office, that they would take 6 of them to remove that person from office. So first of all, I think you need to be mindful of who you're putting in office. Does that person work for you? Is it your agenda that they're going to work every single day trying to push forward, or is it an agenda of their own? Are you benefiting from your elected officers, the people who you put in office? If you're not benefiting from them, then maybe you need to have some conversations with some other people to say, listen, I did this the last time. I voted for this person. These are the things that I was hoping to acquire, attain, the things for my community, my children, the education, whatever it might be. Did those things happen, or did they not happen? Is there even open dialogue with individuals who you elect to office? If you can't have an open dialogue with them, then you need to be doing your homework to reconsider doing something different this year, 2015, when it rolls around and those people come to knock on your door and remember what you did for them the last time, to say, okay, well, what is it that I can think that you might be doing for me this time? Or can you trust that they will be doing for you this time what they say, considering the last time they did not do what they said they were going to do? So I know that might sound like a little, tongue twister, but I'm trying not to give you any specifics. I'm trying to let you decide, let you think about what you did 4 years ago, who you put in office 4 years ago, and how that has worked out for you. If it's worked out for you, then I guess you're okay. If it hadn't worked out for you, then you probably need to reconsider, well, let me try something else. Let me do something else. Let me talk to somebody else and see, how that thing is working out. Because let me tell you, elected officials are servants of the people. And then that's what elected officials do. Their charter says that they represent, because you vote for a representative government, meaning whatever your government does, it's supposed to be representing your best interests. And if the decisions that they're making are not your best interest, then you need to determine whose best interest is it. And if it's not yours, what are you going to do about it? So I'm just letting you know, those are the kind of things that are going on. And then notwithstanding anything, we're going to get into the Secretary of State. We're going to do that on the second segment because it's going to take us the whole 15 minutes to get through these 25 pages, right? Just let you know what her thoughts are about what should be happening with the registrar of voters in the state of Connecticut. I don't know what it is like in your city, in your town, what those things are, but I understand that even in the state of Connecticut, some of our town clerks are elected. And ours in the city of Hartford, they're appointed. But like a city like New Haven, the town clerk has to go out, campaign, run for office like everybody else. So depending on what your municipality does, I'm going to tell you in the next segment what the Secretary of State thinks that you should be doing or how you should be doing it. And I'm going to tell every last one of you, I'm going to give you an opinion on this one. I think that each of you should get with your state rep and your state senators and let them know that's not going to fly. It should not fly in your neighborhood. It just doesn't work for you. It doesn't pan out for you because they're asking you to put a person in office that has less qualifications than the person that they're trying to mandate that you hire. That can't work, right? That 100% absolutely cannot work. So I just want to say in this last couple of minutes on this segment, this side of the show, just want to thank you all for all your encouragement. Thank you all for your continued emails. Email me. You have questions or subjects you want to talk about on the show. Email me at rjowinch@yahoo.com. I will be sure to address your issue at the next segment. One thing about All Politics is Local, when individuals are running for office. By the way, did I tell you that I was also seeking re-election to Hartford City Council in 2015? Well, if you didn't know, now you know. All right, so be on the lookout for some things that we have coming up, some events that we have coming up, some town hall meetings that we have coming up. And call me, send me an email, let me know. I'll come to your house. Just let me know that that's what you want me to do. I will come to your house. All right, so getting back to what I was saying, that people asked me, to address these issues. And I said I would, without an opinion. I'm going to address the registrar of voters as the council, the Hartford City Council has put it forward, as the paper from their legal aides have put it forth to them. They did a whole research, went back to 1920 on this one to come up with a ruling that says, yes, the council can remove another elected official. Yes, they can also remove other council members. So, I think we're going down a little slippery slope on that one because I don't want us to get into the habit of, I don't like Joe today. So, 6 of us or 7 of us are going to get together and we're going to remove that person from office. Because if that's going to continue to happen, then why do you go out and vote? It just makes it more difficult for people to say, well, why should I vote for who I want to put in office if you're going to turn around and take the person out of office that I put in? So that doesn't help us to get people to more participate in the voting process. So I don't want you all to get, too hung up on that part. I want you all to continue to go out and register to vote, continue to go out and exercise your right to vote, but be careful about who you're putting in office. You don't want to put somebody in office who would turn around and do this to somebody else who you elected to office. So, hopefully that makes a little bit more sense to you. Just be careful that, in all things that you do what you think is right, not what somebody else thinks is right, but what you think is right. You do that way. You're not going to have a problem living with your conscience when you think back, oh yeah, you know what? I put so-and-so in office and now so-and-so is trying to put out the other so-and-so that I put in office. So go have a conversation with them and see. I don't know what could possibly be done to stop this train from rolling, but this train is on a really, really slippery track right now. So I would think within the next month or so, we're going to hear some other things about how to pan out and how they plan to make these things happen. All right, so we're talking about the registrar of voters here in the city of Hartford, and I just want the voters to be mindful that, it has been set from the ruling in 1947, a Home Rule Act, that the council does have the authority to remove elected officials to include themselves, the members of their own body. So we're going to be right back to you, and you can hear a little bit about what the Secretary of State has to offer for a solution to the situations.
How do you judge a law firm's success? Cases won, money made, or what the firm does in the community? At Dressler Strickland, we know that success is just the beginning. The true measure of success is what you do with it. For 33 years, we've used our success to help our neighbors and our community. 24/7, 11/22. Whenever you need us, we'll be there. Dressler Strickland, building communities one case at a time.
Hi, this is Elijah Williams from Blue Hill Civic Association, and you're watching AccessTV.org. See, kids, I think like the most important thing that a kid needs is their education, because it's not only kids, it's adults, everybody. They all need an education. Without it, you can't get nowhere in this world. That's my perspective, and that's my opinion. And with Blue Hill Civic Association, it mostly teaches you about business, from writing a resume to filling out a job application. It is a job readiness program for kids that's my age. Well, I'm 17, so yeah, it's like for kids my age, near my age, mostly for everybody, because everybody needs to know how to do that. Access TV, I feel like Access TV is like it's like culture. I say that because you got different channels, and they all talk about different things. And in those different things, you got relationships, you got our show, Blue Hill Civic Association, and you also got the Bible, who Christ, and all that. So yeah, like I think it's like multicultural. And yeah, again, you're watching AccessTV.org.
Well, welcome back. Here we are, another segment of AccessTV.org with your host, rJo Winch, on All Politics is Local. And I will tell you that our Secretary of State, not by rJo say, by her say, is recommending verbatim, and it says, notwithstanding any provisions of Title IX, whatever that is, I have not looked it up, of the general statute, and contrary to legislative body by municipality in consultation with the municipal clerk, that's the town clerk, shall appoint one registrar of voters. And for those of you who don't know, commonly every municipality has two registrar of voters, and they have a Democrat and a Republican. Hartford has a Democrat, Republican, and working family registrar of voters. So I think we're probably the only municipality in the state of Connecticut that has three. But her recommendation is that there be a newly appointed registrar of voters, that you only get one, and that any such person shall have a 4-year college degree with experience related to the administration of the elections or a similar field. And I don't know about you, but I am not aware of any 4-year college degree that anyone could get in the field of registrar of voters. Now, you can get a political science degree, but that doesn't even touch the registrar of voters office. That talks about politics in general, break it down to, Democrat, Republican, other parties, how those parties and things got started, and the history of politics. It doesn't even touch that. So you could have a PhD in political science and you still would not be eligible to be a registrar of voters, according to the Secretary of State in this law that she wants to put forward. And the funny part about the law, start from the beginning, it says an act to strengthening Connecticut's elections. I don't know how you strengthen an election by appointing one registrar, and that registrar having a 4-year college degree in the area of registrar of voters that does not exist. And also the municipality, whoever that is, has to be working in conjunction with the municipal clerk. So we know who the municipal clerk is. That would be the town clerk. But who would be the legislative body of each municipality? Would that be the council, the aldermen, the selectmen? Would that be the state reps, the state senate? It just says legislative body of the municipality. So I would make the assumption that they're talking about selectmen, aldermen, councilmen, because that's how we're broken up. But it all is the same thing too, equivalent to city council that we have here in Hartford. They have aldermen in New Haven, which is the same thing, as a council. So those members that you elect for your municipal office, doesn't say the mayor, just says the legislative body. So I assume that it's talking about council, aldermen, selectmen. We get together with the town clerk, who in some cases, like in our case in the city of Hartford, the council members appoint the town clerk. So why would they consult with the town clerk about appointing a registrar of voters? I'm just saying, I'm just telling you what it said. I'm not trying to make up your mind. I'm just letting you know what it says. I'm just putting it out there so that you are aware of this is what she's asking you to do. So, and with the town clerk, they will appoint a registrar of voters, and such person shall possess a college degree or 4 years of experience related to the administration of elections or a similar field. So I imagine they would have a political science degree, or they would have, more than 4 years experience. But the people with the 4 years experience are the ones who they're trying to, remove from office in the city of Hartford. So I hope that the Secretary of State is not trying to make everybody else have to do something that she thinks just the city of Hartford should do. Because again, like I said in the previous segment, I think that you should be talking to your state reps, your council members, your aldermen, your selectmen, and also your state senators to say, no, we don't want this. If your elected officials, your registrars are working fine in your city and your town, then maybe you don't want to upset the apple cart. Maybe you like things, just the way they are. And so the Secretary of State not going to know that unless she hear it from your state rep or your state senator or your mayor calls her and says, listen, no, we're not doing this. Our government, our municipality is working fine. Our registrar of voters office is working fine. Just because there seems to be a problem in one city, in a couple of cities, that doesn't mean that all of us need to abide by this. So if that's where you are, then I think that that's what you should do. But another really funny thing to me, because I always look deep into things. People say, I don't look so deep into it. But no, I do look deep into it. Because the mayor of your city only needs to be 18 years old and get enough people to go out and vote for him to be elected. Same thing with your council members. They only need to be 18 years old and get enough people to vote to put them in office. They don't need a college degree. They don't even need to be a high school graduate. It does not a requirement to be a registered voter that you even have a high school diploma. It only requires you to be 18 years old, a U.S. citizen, and get enough people to vote for you. So this could possibly mean that the mayor of your town, the councilman, alderman, selectmen of your town don't even have a college degree themselves, will be putting together a panel to say that they want to appoint a registrar of voters, and they're going to require that this person has a 4-year degree in a similar subject when they themselves aren't required to have any. So I think that you all ought to do the smart thing. Call your Secretary of State. If you don't want to call her, call a councilman, alderman, selectman in your town, because you should know them. They work for you. You should know them. And let them know to go back and have a conversation with the Secretary of State and say, no, this is like dead on arrival. We don't want your 25 pages of, putting out our registrars who are working together so that you have you have two major parties, a Republican and a Democrat. And then I don't know anybody else other than the city of Hartford who has 3 registrars, but you want the people who you elected to office to work together, to work on your behalf. You don't want a body of people to appoint that person, because now who does the registrar work for? If the registrar is appointed by the council, the selectmen, the aldermen, then guess what? That's who the registrar works for. The registrar no longer works for you. But when you, the people, go out and vote for a person to put that person in office, then that person works directly for you. They don't have any other bosses. Their bosses is the public. And that's the way the system was designed to be. It's supposed to be a system of the people, by the people, for the people. So that's why you go out and cast your votes to put so-and-so in office, so that they can get your streets plowed. They can empty your trash. They can make sure that your kids are, getting into good schools, that schools are taken care of, that when you need things, tax reduction, reevaluations, all those things that you need from your municipality, you can go to your municipality and ask for those things. Why? Because you elected those people to office. So, all right, so if they're going to appoint the registrar according to the Secretary of State's ruling, then what say later they don't come back with some ruling that said, oh, well, you know what? Now we're going to have appointed mayors. And then they'll pass that ruling. And then they say, oh, and now we're going to have appointed councilmen. And then they'll pass that ruling. So before you know it, you're not in charge of anybody. Your vote might as well be on a napkin, because it's not going to be any good. It's not going to be needed. So if you let people continue to appoint people and appoint people and appoint people without you being a part of the process, eventually your whole government will be appointed, and then you will just be reaping whatever it is they choose to give you without holding them accountable for it, because you will not be the body, the authority that they have to come back to and say, listen, can you reelect me? No, they need to get with these 9 people and have those 9 people appoint them. So you gotta, I guess you would be responsible for the 9 people who you elect, and then those people would go out and appoint the other people. But that just makes the process a whole lot confusing. It's better the way it is, that the people elect the mayor, the people elect the council, the people elect, the registrars. I understand that there are difficulties and a lot of things went on, in the city of Hartford. I'm not going to excuse all of, the things that went on, or say, that I understand why these things happen. I'm just saying that it just really, really bothers me that we would have only 1 registrar instead of 2 registrars, at least 2, because that way, we have 2 registrars, you have like multiple choices. You have like the Democratic registrar, Republican registrar, or Democrat and somebody else, 2 major party registrars. Let's put it that way. So if you have 2 major party registrars, then at least that way people have the feeling of being represented by a registrar. If there's only 1 registrar and the registrar gets appointed by the alderman, the selectman, or the council, that registrar no longer represents you. They represent the people who appoint them, because the minute that they don't, then they're going to get removed and somebody else going to get appointed. So, and the ball will just keep on rolling until the appointees get somebody in place that they can control, that they can tell who to do what, and then you cut the people out. So you got to be very, very careful that we don't go down this slippery slope. But I'm telling you right now, I will be making that phone call myself. Have made that phone call to a couple of people already. So I'm telling you to do as I have done. Call your state reps, call your state senators, and let them ask them first, like, have you read what the Secretary of State is trying to put forth in the state of Connecticut? Wanted to appoint 1 registrar. And so if the only 1 registrar is going to be appointed, then what's the registrar staff going to look like? How many people is that person going to have working for them? Is it going to be a diverse staff? Are they going to be limited to the number of people that they can have, there? So this isn't, to me, This isn't a money savings. If you're going to have one registrar, but then the registrar needs 20 people on staff, you haven't saved any money. So if you're doing it for that purpose, there's no money going to be saved because you need people to effectively run elections. So if people can't get paid to do the work, then the staff is going to be small, and more people, more municipalities are going to run into situations where you don't have individuals that can get trained to work at the polls, to work during election times, and then continue to cause the problems that we had. So I'm just saying, be informed. Make sure that you have conversations, talk to people. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There are no stupid questions. You know, when I was in school, they used to say the only stupid question is a question not asked. Because guarantee you ask that question, somebody else in the audience be like, yeah, that's a question I could have asked. Or that's a question I would have asked. So I'm glad that that person asked the question so I can get the answer on that. So this year is an election year, and your mayor and council are going to be up for re-election. And I am asking every single one of you to consider, you know, a mayor that works for you, a mayor that you can talk to, a mayor that you can reach out to. Also, don't forget a city treasurer is also going to be up for re-election. So have a conversation with that person. I'm just saying rJo Winch is going to be running for Hartford City Council, and I hope that you all will consider, you know, me as a viable person that you can talk to, somebody that you can reach out to. I hope that I'm somebody who you know understands, you know, what we are facing, you know, as the grassroots inside the city of Hartford and abroad, because many of you may or may not remember that when I was on the city council that I also represented the city of Hartford on the National League of Cities. So whenever there was conferences, I would go out, you know, and bring back things to the city that they were doing out on the national level, things that we could do right here inside the city of Hartford. So just be mindful of some of those things and all the youth programs, you know, that were in place when I was in office, and all the summer programs and things that we had, you know, for teenagers getting out of school to do that we no longer have access to. So those are some of the things that we want to get back to. Nonprofit organizations were able to get not a loan, but grants from the city of Hartford, you know, from directly from the council's pocket, you know, when I was on a council, because we put together a financial plan where we could actually give funds out between $200 to $2,500 out to nonprofit organizations here in our area. So just think about some of those things when you think about going out to the polls in 2015 and electing council members. All right. And make sure that you remember that you heard it here first. And we will keep you posted on the things going on with the registrars and anything else you need us to discuss here on the All Politics is Local. Email me, rjowinch@yahoo.com, or text me at 860-462-5063. And I will definitely get back to you. We will talk about those things on the air. You don't have to be present. I'll say it for you because this is representative government. So we'll see you again here on All Politics is Local on accesstv.org.